Support for Radio Friends comes from La Brunerie Financial, where they work to ensure a lifetime of financial security for people from all walks of life, from investment services to retirement plans. If you're looking for a trustworthy company that has the experience and knowledge to put your interests first, contact La Brunerie Financial, a community-based investment counseling firm since 1966. Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Monday, October the 9th. My friend John Howe is with us. Of course, John has been on several times over the years. He's written a book called The Foolish Corner. And there it is, The Foolish Corner. It's about some of the ridiculous things, foolish things that we do with money.
Exactly, right. And in fact, I'd like to talk about one of those today.
What's that?
Which, in fact, there's a whole chapter in the book devoted to this called money, what I call money illusions.
Money illusions.
Illusions, mistakes we make in thinking about money.
Okay.
So I'm going to start by saying that I'm subject to these things as well. So I'll give you a quick story here. I have a credit card that gives me reward points.
Right.
I'm not going to name the credit card. But this is real money. It's not like frequent flyer miles. It's real money in the sense, let's suppose I have 100 reward points. I can get $100. I can ask them to send me a check for $100.
Okay.
Or I can say, apply the $100 towards my next balance or whatever. So it's real money. So the other day I was on an online shopping venue. I try to shop locally when I can, but it's not always possible. And I noticed that I had enough of these reward points to pay for the purchase that I was making. And the funny thing is, even though I was aware that I felt like somehow it was almost
getting it free.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly, right? When, intellectually we know, no, that's real money, right? But somehow I just felt like, I don't have to put in my credit card number, I don't have to write a check, and stuff like that. So that's just a money illusion that I found myself subject to, and I think a lot of us probably go for that from time to time.
Okay, but let me correct you one thing here. Or, not a correction.
No, that's fine.
But if you hadn't had the foresight to sign up for that credit card that gave you the points back that you could use as actual money, you would not have had that money. So, you can look at it as something free there, if you rationalize it that way.
Well, in some sense, I earned it by making the choice
exactly
to sign up for that rewards program.
Yeah,
exactly. So
okay, so you can say, no, it wasn't free because I actually paid for it, but if I hadn't signed up for that credit card, I wouldn't have had that money.
True enough.
And I would have ended up having to pay more money for this item that I wanted.
Agreed. That's not a correction. I absolutely agree with that.
Okay.
So let me move on to something that's been in the headlines the last year, and that is the concept of inflation. And this is, slightly dry, but I think a lot of people misunderstand inflation. So I want to just spend a minute or two on inflation because there's some money illusion going on there. So inflation basically is a rise in the overall price level.
Right.
And if you think about, your grocery cart full of things, including services like people who mow your lawn and stuff, and really it's measured from month to month, and how much does that same package of things go up in price? And of course, inflation's been in the headlines. And what I see though is some notion that people don't understand what inflation is really about, because it's the increase in the price level. Now, when inflation goes down, but still stays positive, so most recently, inflation was running about 4%. Let's say that's approximately right. That means this overall price level is going up by 4%. A year ago, it might have been going up by 7 or 8%, right? But still, at 4%, it's still going up.
Right.
And so, I see in articles I read, a lot of people seem to think that if the inflation rate goes down, that prices should go down, which is not correct. They should, if inflation is going down, they'll just go up at a slower rate.
So, wait, so you're saying if inflation is going down, prices are not going to go down?
That's it. And that's exactly the point I'm trying to get. So they may be going up at 4% rather than 8%. That's what I mean by inflation going down. Inflation used to be 8%. Now it's 4%. Inflation's come down. But inflation, still positive number. And so, but inflation of 4% means that prices are still going up at 4%.
4%.
They're just going up more slowly than they used to.
Okay, what about deflation?
Okay, good. So the deflation is actually a decline in the overall price level.
And some economists do not feel that deflation is good.
That is true. There are a variety of reasons for that, having to do with wages and so forth, and probably not going to get into that there. Just for if you want to do a cocktail party kind of vocabulary, when the inflation rate comes down but doesn't turn negative, which would be prices going down, it's called disinflation.
Disinflation?
Disinflation is the lowering of the inflation rate, but still to a positive number. And deflation is, as you said, a decline in overall price levels, which historically has been pretty rare,
right,
and is not regarded generally as a good idea. So anyway, I hope that helps people think about, just because inflation's, say 3%, 4%, you don't expect prices to be going down. You just hope they don't go up very much, right?
Too much.
Right,
Okay.
and I think there's some confusion about that.
We've got about 2 minutes left. Is there anything in particular, any one chapter in that book that you want people to read?
Well, I do have a chapter called Money Illusion, and it includes the things we've been talking about, as well as some others. And I might just give you one more. So we were talking about credit cards at the top of the show here. And, credit cards are a particular point of financial vulnerability, I might call it. And I think the reason's fairly obvious. If you pay for something for a credit card, you get the satisfaction of whatever it is, whether it's a meal or something, and the pain of paying for it is pushed off into the future.
If you look at it that way, but if you use your credit card and you realize I'm charging this, but I have to have the money in order to charge this and pay for it. I don't put anything on I put everything on my credit card, but I don't put anything on a credit card that I cannot pay for when it comes that month.
Well, two comments. One, you might have a rewards plan that makes sense to use the credit card, and then you are what bankers call a 30-day wonder, meaning you pay off your balance.
I do
every year,
and the banks don't really like that. They would prefer that you carry a balance
because the interest rates are high. Right. But I will tell you one thing. There are not too many people in your audience who are old enough to remember this, but I can remember when McDonald's first introduced credit cards. You could pay by credit card. And there were some economists smart enough to study this, and they found that people tended to spend about 25% more with a credit card than if you had to reach in your pocket and take out the cash.
That makes sense. Yeah. If you want the book, it's
It's The Foolish Corner. It's on Amazon. It's available in hard copy as well as Kindle.
Okay. And you have your website.
I do have a Substack newsletter. It's free. johnhowe.substack.com. You can subscribe for free by just going to that address.
Okay, John, thank you so much for coming by. It's always a pleasure chatting with you.
What fun.
And I learn something every time you're here.
Well,
okay.
Enjoyed it so much. Thanks, Paul.
The Foolish Corner on Amazon. We're out of time. See you next time. Bye-bye.